All right, this is the first power switch, campaign priority levels. So essentially, as you're setting up different campaigns, you can tell Google what to look at first. So specifically, what the heck are power switches? All right, these are controls within the Google Shopping Network that allows you to tell Google to send you different type of traffic based off your campaign objectives. All right, and it also is going to allow you to increase your exposure on the entire shopping network at no additional cost. And then lastly, it's going to help give you a competitive edge when you're actually scaling your ads on the shopping network. All right. So what does that look like? All right, this is the first power switch, campaign priority levels. So essentially, as you're setting up different campaigns, you can tell Google what to look at first. All right, high priority says, hey, Google, look at this campaign first. Medium priority says, hey, if there's another high priority, look at this campaign objective second. Lastly is low priority. That's the thing that they're going to look at last in all the different campaigns that you have set up. All right. So within campaign priority levels, number one, I highly recommend using this when you're actually doing manual bidding, okay? Next is the segmentation within your campaigns when scaling with lots of products and stuff. The reason why you want to tell Google what campaigns to look at first is we can actually set up different types of audiences within the shopping network to tell them to look at different campaigns, all right? So an example is, let's just say you have, you want like a bunch of generic campaigns to end up in one campaign type because we know that generic traffic doesn't convert as much as long tail keywords, right? So what we can do is we can actually set up one campaign and tell Google like, hey, put a high priority on all the people that's at the top of funnel. I still want those people coming to my website, but I just don't want to spend that much money for them, right? And then next, we can set our campaign that we're going to spend more money on as a low priority campaign, which is going to be like a second campaign if you're setting up a funnel. And we can say, hey, Google, all the long tail keywords that come, send them to this campaign because I'll pay you more money, but you know, only send them to me if I'm actually looking for that quality of traffic, all right? So the next things you got to do is make sure that you actually turn on the targeted networks or targeting networks specifically in the shopping campaigns, all right? So when you're actually setting a campaign up, Google's going to ask you like, hey, do you want your products to show up on the search network? Do you want your products to show up on YouTube? The search network mostly is checked by default, but YouTube, if you guys don't have that checked, you want to go inside your campaigns right now, check that so you can start actually running traffic on YouTube too as well, all right? So with that being said, this works for any type of campaign type. Any campaign types that you guys have, you want to make sure that you turn this on and make sure that you enable it pretty much on all the channels that that Google's going to allow you to, right? Then lastly, we already talked about Google services, but when you make sure that you have the search network turned on and YouTube turned on, Google's going to look at all that as they're seeing all the queries that's happening on other channels and different device types now with surfaces, and is going to start to display your traffic on the Google Display Network, again, for the same rates that you're already paying on the shopping network, all right? So specifically the first power switch that I talked about with the networks, this is what it looks like. So pretty much websites that have like, you know, this search phrase or search box specifically on their websites, that's where you're going to start to show up specifically with that, all right? YouTube, if you guys haven't noticed, again, when you have that box checked, on YouTube, right underneath the videos, Google's actually going to start taking a look at the terms, and they're going to start displaying you on YouTube as they see that your campaigns are doing well, specifically on the shopping network. Then the last power switch is enhanced CPC. All right, so that's where it looks like inside the campaigns. If you're already running campaigns, you just click on settings, and then you'll see it in the bidding section, okay? So with enhanced CPC, the only time that you want to turn this on is when you're actually starting to hit a ceiling for your traffic. So I've talked to quite a few people that's here, and they're like, hey, Ernest, I'm kind of maxed out in terms of traffic. I'm not able to kind of, you know, scale things up a little bit more. This is a perfect time to actually turn on this third power switch. The next thing is point number 2, all right? I only recommend ever turning this on once you have at least 30 conversions for either your product and or that campaign type, all right? Because if you don't, essentially, I don't have like enough time to go into enhanced CPC, but inevitably, Google, you give your control over to Google to increase how much you're willing to pay per click, and when they have more data specifically on the products it is that you're selling, they're only going to increase that by, on average, about a 20 to 30% variance. But when you don't have a lot of data inside your campaigns, essentially, Google's just going to kind of shotgun around and try to figure out how much they should charge you, all right? So out of all that, point number 2 is the most, like, important thing to write down, okay? Lastly is when you have, obviously, like I talked about, the data and stuff inside your campaign, like I just mentioned, is Google's not going to charge you as much when you do that. So essentially, all you do is just click that little checkbox, boom, then now Google's going to enhance your CPC to allow you to kind of leapfrog in front of your competition as you're actually running your ads for your campaigns.